What's up, soldiers? Mr. Sauce, Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. As promised, I told you guys I was coming with another sauce for you guys. Peppers, bountiful in the garden. Smoking them, bringing them back inside. We're going to employ the use of tamarind or tamarind. You're going to love this one, man. Check it out. Wings, barbecue meats, grill meats, your hot dog, your hamburger, even your little roti and something too. You can toss some of that on there, you know. No lie. Sauce boss. No, Mr. Sauce, thank you. Few things I wanted to point out to you guys. First of all, my temperature is set at 210 degrees and I'm smoking these off here. Quite a bit of peppers here. You'll see the same clip in two recipes I'm doing because it's two different sauces I'm doing. Two, you'll notice all the space I have between the peppers. It's important that you do that as well too. You really want that space in between the peppers so that smoke, as you can see. I don't know if you guys can see, it's rising up from there. Yeah, so the space between the peppers, a variety of peppers in my case here, and we want all that. I don't know if you guys can see that smoke that's coming out there. So we're gonna, I'm gonna smoke these bad boys an hour later, and I'm removing, it's been about an hour and 10 minutes or so later, and I'm just removing them off the smoker now. The smoke has done its thing. See, they've wilted quite a bit. They haven't charred or anything like that. The idea here wasn't to char them, but to smoke them. So we're gonna take these inside now, and we're gonna make the sauces. And these are the tamarinds we'll be flavoring this sauce with. I got it at the Asian market, and this one is a bit of a sweet one. The ones we get in the Caribbean, well, we do get the sweet one, but for the most part it's really tart. And later on in the recipe, if you do have the tart one, you will need to adjust the sort of sweetness or the sugar level in there. And all you want to do, take one of these, we'll just crack it. We're going to get all the meat out of the shell, and there's a string there. You want to pull that back like so. Now there's seeds in here. If I could get one out to show you guys. Well, later on I'll show you guys the seeds. Oh, there we go. These are the seeds, but there's an easier way to get that out. So I'm going to toss it into the pot there, and I'm going to continue breaking these down. Remember, try not to get any of the shell in the mix, because that's just going to mess with our nice lovely sauce later on, and get all that string out as well too. I'll toss that in there and continue working it. One of them, if you crack it open, you see that sort of white sort of fungus. Yeah, you're gonna discard that. We're not gonna touch that. This is all garbage here now. Notice all the sort of ropey, viney stuff I was talking about. Now we to push this to the back there. And this is all the tamarind that we've got here. Now, here's the thing I forgot to mention. This is the old school way of doing it. There is actual tamarind paste already removed. The seeds is removed, the shell is removed, and everything. If you can source that, and you know, I found this at the Asian market, as I said. You can get it at the Caribbean stores, you can get it at the Latino stores. And you'll also find the paste there as well. So you're asking for tamarind paste. Now in this case here, and the reason why I have it in my little sauce pot or saucepan or whatever, I'm going in with 2 cups of boiling water. We need to soften this up to get all of the meat or the flesh off the tamarind seeds. And here I've got the second batch of smoked peppers we made. You know, if you haven't seen recipe 1, please go and check that out. That one we did with cherry, with rum, with cane sugar. Yo, that one is a boss wing sauce. I ain't lying. We've got these here. But unlike that recipe, what I'm going to do is not only remove the stems and discard it, I'm going to give it a quick chop and into the saucepan. So, quick chop and into the saucepan. As I said in that video, please, these are incredibly hot peppers. Wear gloves and wash your hands with soap and water after. You know, you cannot be Mr. Sauce and not be able to handle peppers. So I am a professional, but please don't follow me. Alright? chop these up and set them aside while that tamarind cools down so we can handle it. To the pot with the smoked peppers here. I'm still waiting for the tamarind to cool down to be able to handle it. Salt. Something a little bit unique. Coconut palm sugar. If you can't get that, use a good brown sugar, a dark brown sugar. We've got some garlic. And this here is what we call shado beni or culantro. And this is what it looks like. It's a nice wide leaf. The same sort of flavor profile as cilantro. However, a little bit more pronounced, and you don't get that soapy aftertaste a lot of people tend to get with cilantro. Pure maple syrup, and I want all of that in there. We ain't trying to waste nothing in this dry guava season. Some roasted ground geera, and that is about a half a teaspoon, and that is roasted cumin. Switch this over now, put that aside, and bring the little pot we have here. And what we're going to do, make sure the water is cool enough for you to touch. You would just go in now, and you would take the pulp off the seeds, and the seed will have a sort of a casing around it. That is rubbish. We ain't trying to use that. So just keep moving around, playing with those seeds in there, and then discard. Just make sure you get all the flesh off the end. Maybe flesh is the wrong word, but that's just the word I grew up using, you know. That's going to go into the rubbish. At the end, we don't want any strings or any seeds in the liquid that we're making here. This is pretty much how you would make tamarind juice as well, yeah? I believe I already shared that recipe with you all. So all we got to do now is drain all of that tamarind goodness in here. Just be very careful, because what I'm trying to do is to catch any sediment at the bottom there. There we go. So that's sediment there, small thing. I have my heat on medium now, and I'm going to go in with some apple cider. Not apple cider vinegar, but just apple cider. And we're going to bring that up to a boil, and then we're going to reduce it to a simmer, because we want to cook everything down so later on we can puree it into that sauce. We've got one more ingredient to go in there, but at the very, very end we're going to add that to brighten everything up. But for now, we're just trying to bring this up to a boil and then down to a simmer. It didn't take long, I think maybe 3 minutes on that medium heat, and it came up to a boil. You can see the little bubbles all there. We don't want this violent at all. We want this nice and peaceful, just a gentle simmer, little bubble up on the sides there. So I'm going to turn my heat down to low and let that just play itself down there, alright? 30 minutes later, make sure you have the fan over your stove on, because yeah, it's going to be toxic. It's going to want to choke you out, boy. But 30 minutes later, I'm going to turn off my stove now. Everything is broken down there. Everything is soft. And I'm going to go in with my stick blender. Now, if you wanted to put this into a traditional blender, you can certainly do that. But I would suggest you allow it to cool down first. And pretty much, you want to get it as smooth as possible. So it will take a few minutes, but just be careful. I would recommend that you allow it to cool before you do this, because as you saw there, it is flying everywhere. And the last place you want that to go is in your eyes. You don't want that happening. Got a nice, thick, lovely pepper sauce here, and that tamarind is just screaming out, "Come and get me, come and get me." But this is lethal. Just remember the peppers that we used in there, though they're smoked, it didn't kill the heat of them. So be mindful of that. Look at that lovely consistency we got. One little edit. You guys didn't see me do this. It was very thick. So what I did was I added another half a cup of white vinegar when I was pureeing it there with the stick blender. The last thing. My heat is off. We're going to go in with the juice of 1 lime. And the acidity there is just going to pow pow. is going to allow this thing to really scream out. Let's look at that. Let's look at the sheen that you get in there. Allow it to cool down, and then you can bottle it, put it in the fridge. Yeah, this one got to stay in the fridge. It will stay in the fridge easily for about a month or so. Great on your wings, great on your barbecue, great on your scrambled eggs. Any way you like hot sauce or pepper sauce, you can use it. If you want to make some pulori or sahina or anything like that, I got those recipes, you know. You can do that and just, let me show you again. Look at that. Ooh, isn't that, yo, that's pure fire right there. Anyways, thanks a lot for joining me in the kitchen today. Remember, you can always get my cookbook at caribbeanpot.com/cookbook and make it great.